Thank you for watching Making the Mosaic. My name is Emma Jenkins and I'm a workplace and employment mediator. I wanted to talk about why taking sides is often not as helpful as it first might seem. When we see someone being potentially treated unfairly, we tend to react in one of two ways. Either we defend them or we try and not get involved. Now, defending someone is not something I take issue with as a mediator, but often defending someone can turn into taking sides, and that's where the problems can arise. So I'm going to talk about 4 of those potential problems. Firstly, you can take your eyes off of the issue that you first were trying to challenge when your priority shifts to taking someone's side, to defending that person, because your loyalty becomes a greater priority than the issue that you were first trying to challenge. Secondly, the issue can grow out of proportion and it can grow beyond the core group of people that were initially impacted by that incident in the first place. And the more people get involved, unfortunately in this scenario, it's not a case of a problem shared as a problem halved. It's multiplied. Thirdly, people can start with really good intentions when they're taking someone's side, but often it can turn from defending someone to attacking the other person or the other people on the other side. And it can turn out that you end up being guilty of the same behaviour that you were trying to challenge in them in the first place. Fourthly, which is actually a good problem to have, those core people that the incident originated with end up resolving things together, and that's great for them. But for those who were defending each side, they don't know what to do about it. How do their issues then get resolved? Because as they have defended these people, probably their actions have caused counter reactions from the other side, and so there are behaviours that may need people to be accountable for. And resolution, I find, is a lot trickier with those people on the wider circle than it is with those at the core of the issue. If I put a scenario in front of you, say person A gets shouted at by person B in a team meeting. So person C stands up and tells person B to not shout. Now, I don't take issue with this. It is still defending, and we can talk about the most appropriate way of handling that kind of thing in another session. But the issue at this point is still focused on the behaviour. And at this point, if person A and person B decide that they want to resolve things between themselves, it's actually probably quite easily achievable at this point. But if those people then leave the room and start talking amongst themselves, maybe they start saying about person B's behaviour, and people can start adding fuel to the fire. Maybe person B did something to someone else a couple of weeks ago or a year ago. Maybe someone starts defending person B and saying person A deserved it because this is how person A treated me one point and this is why I would have wanted to shout at them. So unfortunately, instead of issues starting to get resolved, those issues start to grow. And at this point, it's still possible to resolve the situation. But as more and more negativity is added, and as people start to label others as being a certain way, rather than talking about those specific behaviours, it can lead to needing to have an expert in conflict, like a mediator, to come in and resolve things. Now, I used a one-off incident, and I think we all know that most conflicts don't revolve around one incident. There tends to be quite a backlog of different things that have happened to build to that point. But actually, I think that proves my point even more, because when there are lots of factors involved, when there is ambiguity about issues like who said what were people's intentions, who started things in the first place, then it becomes even more precarious to take sides, because there is more ambiguity and things become even more complicated. And in fact, when you take sides, it can lead to a lose-lose environment rather than helping anything at all, including the person you were taking sides with. People become more entrenched in their side and the other side being wrong and they are being right. They become less willing to try and understand each other, and their perspective becomes much less objective. In fact, it may be that their only way of seeing a resolution happening is by removing that person that they've now labelled as being the problem from the situation, which actually rarely is necessary and is rarely helpful. James Harvey Robinson said this: "Partisanship, taking sides, is our great curse. We too readily assume that everything has two sides and that it is our duty to be on one or the other." Again, taking sides is different to defending someone. But often we feel like we have to pick a side and that will be the best thing to do, the most courageous thing to do, the most principled thing to do. But actually, as soon as we take our eyes off of the issue that we're trying to challenge in the first place, it can lead to more problems, more complications, and more conflict. When we focus on the issue, it means that the options for resolution can be a lot clearer, a lot less emotive, and there's more potential for a positive outcome. It also means that you're less likely to unnecessarily damage those wider relationships, and you just stay keeping that conflict between those at the core of the situation, which again, as I said, is much easier to resolve than when it spreads to everyone else. But when the focus is on the person being the issue, which is what happens often when you take sides, there is very little to be done to resolve things, and it would take a lot of work from a mediator to be able to do so. I try and remind people that we don't know the future, especially with relationships, and it could be that someone that you at one point disliked or distrusted, someone who you found irritating, could one day be that person that you want to call in an emergency, that person who has earned your total trust. But we don't know, and by not taking sides, it leaves room for resolution, it leaves room for relationships to stay good and healthy and honest. But if we take sides, that takes that potential away, and it adds complication, it adds mess, and actually it's less likely to actually help anything. So, if you want to defend someone, if you want to stand up against an injustice, then please do, but try and avoid taking sides. If you want to know more about the training I can offer your staff and your organisation on communication in conflict, or you want to know what's involved with our conflict prevention assessments, or what workplace mediation actually is, then please do get in contact. You can go to my website www.mosaicmediation.co.uk and contact me through the contact page, or you can email me at emma.jenkins@mosaicmediation.co.uk. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.